Hey guys, it's Adam with Akshon Esports, and today I'm speaking with Kib of the Guangzhou Charge. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing all right, thanks. All right, so to start, I'd like to talk a little bit about your history. Your Wikipedia page is quite a lot of teams on it. Can you give me a little bit of context and talk to me about your journey from Reunited all the way to Guangzhou?
Well, before Reunited, I think I played in that was this tournament in like the beta of Overwatch, which was not the beta before that like barely anyone had access to. It was the beta if you pre-ordered the game, I think. I played in the tournament in there, but it was a really like small amateur tournament. And then when the game came out, I was just playing every single day for probably like 10 hours plus. And then as soon as rank came out, I played, and I think it was top 3 or top 5 on ladder as soon as the ladder came out, and I think they scouted me for the ladder. So that was Reunited. But after Reunited, I played in there for, I'm not sure how long, but it was at least 3 months, I think, or more. After that, I think I played on Renegades a little bit, but never like signed. I was just like trialing them, played a couple matches. And I think it was Laser Kittens after that, or Bench Boys, which turned into Laser Kittens. I really liked that team, like the players and the atmosphere. But as it like slowly went on, it kind of like deteriorated because Al was coming up, I think, at that point when it was like Contenders Finals, I think, in LA. And like the team was getting scouted, some people were going to Al, so it was like a little bit rough. And after C9, I went to British Hurricane, which is again C9, but that team was probably the most like consistent and best team I've played on throughout my entire career. And I think playing with them, and especially the World Cup last year, is what made me like be able to rise to a high enough level to get into the Overwatch League.
Excellent. So during World Cup this last year, you played with Fusions, Crews, and Boombox, who are all on separate teams in the league. Only Boombox had been in AL beforehand, so tell me a little bit about how World Cup helped you guys in furthering your Overwatch careers.
Well, having Boombox was a big help because obviously it was in AL and the finals. But we also had Hayes from the coach of Fusion. And like as we went to Paris, like the qualifier for BlizzCon, Chris was actually playing for us, which was really good at the time. But then after we qualified, Chris like took time to think and decided he wanted to go coach. And so it was him and Hayes and Chu from, I think he's on Envy now still. So those coaches all together were really, really good, especially Hayes since he got to the finals of the Overwatch League. So then when we went into BlizzCon, everyone knew like we wanted Fusions to play because if you just watch Fusions for the year, he was coming up and up and up as a player. And we went into BlizzCon very, very prepared. Like we knew how good Goats was. A lot of the American teams didn't know. That's why, the results speak for themselves. But so we just tried to abuse how good that comp is and like the lack of knowledge in other regions. And I think the help of Boombox and Hayes especially is why we were so dominant in the World Cup to begin with.
So talk to me about your transition into Overwatch League. What was it like joining Guangzhou, and then like what's the lifestyle change like going from the kind of lower tier into the AL tier?
Well, definitely the work hours. It's a lot more consistent here because in Contenders and like below, there's a lot of cancellations and like a lot of longer breaks, I think. But in AL, it's like sometimes you do like 6 hours, which includes scrims and VODs. Sometimes you do like 8 hours, 9 hours a day. It really depends on if like a match is coming up, if you need to prepare hard or stuff like that. So the work hours are definitely more like consistently through however much time you're playing for. The lifestyle change, it wasn't as big as I thought it would be, considering I'm on a team with 5 Koreans and 2 Chinese and then 1 American, which the American and me are not that different, but I thought it'd be a big difference. But they like made it really easy to like just fit in and talk to them and like mess around with each other. So I think we're all really friendly with each other.
Excellent. So considering the mix of languages on the team, what's communication like both in and out of game?
Outside of the game, it's like perfectly fine. We're always making jokes, like running around the house, messing around. In game, at first, like when we went to China for the boot camp, it was a little rough because we didn't know like which direction to take it. But as we like went through the boot camp and went to Korea for the show match against Seoul, we really thinned out the communication and how we're gonna do it. So now it's like, I'm not really sure percentages, but it's like some Korean, some English. If all the English is anything to involve with the player playing, like me, Eileen, or Nira in the future, and stuff like that. If it involves us, it will always be in English, so we know exactly what's going on and what to do and what else they have, etc., etc. So I think a lot of people think it's like a big barrier, but in Goats, I think it's very, very easy to follow with like I'm not going to say little comms, but like with 2 different languages being spoken in the game, because if you understand your role, you know exactly where you need to be and when to push, and especially if they're calling for you as well to do certain things, you know exactly how to play the comp.
Excellent. So what do you feel like you personally bring to Guangzhou that they wouldn't have without you?
I think especially the break, because through World Cup, Hayes and Chris really studied for a long time, like the GOATS meta and how we should play, how to define it, how to be like disciplined and very decisive with our moves and ults and all of that kind of stuff. So I think coming into it, I have like a really good knowledge of this comp and this meta, and especially on break, like the understanding of the hero and how well to play it.
At this point, Guangzhou is still a bit of a question mark in the league. So what do you think people's biggest misunderstanding is about your team?
I think the biggest misunderstanding is putting us very low in the rankings and the language barrier. The language barrier I can obviously understand, because I mean we've got like 4 to 3 different nationalities, but I think if you really like dig deep and understand if the team really wants to make this work and work hard, it's very doable, which every single player on my team wants to make this happen. Like it be a global team so we can communicate well, especially in dive. Look, you can see I don't think we've lost the first map yet in any single one, and that's always dive, like the free comp, which requires a lot of communication.
Excellent. So you're coming in as a DPS to the league for the first time in kind of a non-DPS heavy meta. So how do you hope to distinguish yourself amongst the DPS players having to play supports and stuff like that in the GOATS meta?
Well, coming into it, I expected it to be GOATS, at least for stage 1, maybe stage 2, we'll see what like kind of patch changes that there are. So for me personally, I wanted to see like move more towards DPS as well, but like not completely get rid of tanks, because I do think obviously GOATS is played too much. It's just like every single map, maybe one or two off, but I don't mind it that much. But I do think it is need to more move towards like more DPS, McCree, Tracer, Genji, Widow, just more DPS in general.
Excellent. What are some of your personal goals for the season?
Well, for the team, it's like get playoffs, obviously. Try to get as high as we can in the league. Like put myself out there as a player. I think coming into it because of the World Cup, like a lot of us UK players got hyped up after the World Cup, so like a lot of people have high expectations of us, and so far it's been good for all of us, I think. So for me, just to stand out more as a player, like my biggest inspiration now as a flex DPS is Eco from Fusion. Seeing him come from like a team nobody knew of to come to the league, get to the finals and be one of the best, I think he is the best flex DPS in the league, is like one of my personal goals, to have a story like his.
So being a UK player playing in LA for a Chinese team, you've got fans across 3 different continents.
Yeah.
So what have your fan interactions been like thus far, or interactions with the team fans at the very least?
In China it was amazing. We like did a fan event. We played like a bunch of random mini games with the fans. That was really fun. We also did like a fan meet after the show match, and a lot of fans were there as well, and a lot of them knew me and the team. I think it was mostly me and Nero, because I don't know why, but for some reason they knew us mostly. In LA, I don't think we've really had one yet, but we're going to do a signing later today, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, right on. Last question, any final words for all those fans out there, those you've met and those you've yet to meet?
Thank you to all the fans and everyone that supports us and everyone that doesn't like put us down and expects us to do bad. The reason we're so good is because all of you guys are the reason you come and watch us, why we have jobs and why we play so well, because we're so motivated because of you guys. So thank you.